Hello everyone, welcome back. Zargot here. Looks like we're running into day number 3 of our Rivals of Ixalan spoilers. Got quite a few cards to check out today. Hope you're going to enjoy looking at those with me. If you do, make sure to hit that like button. And if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so I can see you in my next video. Alright, so let's take a look here. First up, we have the Siege-Horn Ceratops. Green-white for 2/2 Dino. And Rage Trigger gets 2+1/+1 counters. Very, very powerful card. We've already seen Ryle, Dual Shot, and Raging Swordtooth and Ixalan, and we haven't even seen half the spoilers from Rivals yet. This card's going to be easy to trigger, and it's going to be very powerful when you do so. I'm looking forward to drafting this card. Very, very powerful. So next we have Profaned Procession. This is a legendary enchantment. Black, white, and 1. It has the ability to pay 3, then black, white. You can exile a creature. When you have 3 creatures exiled with it, you can transform it into Tomb of the Dusk Rose, which is a legendary land, taps for 1 of any color, and then its ability is black, white, 2, tap it, and place any of the exiled cards into play under your control. This card's a little strange in black, white. This feels more like a black, blue control card to me. I think it might be a little slow for draft, especially in black, white, since typically you're looking to be a little faster for your vampires. But I'm not sure yet. We'll have to see how this one plays out. I think it's going to be Commander All-Star. I might even see some standard play. Next we have Protean Raider. This is blue-red 1 for 2/2. It does have a raid trigger that it comes into play as a copy of any creature on the battlefield. This is a clone effect. This is fantastic. Clone is always good. I think this card is going to be fantastic in draft. It's going to be great in limited, and I'm definitely looking forward to putting a copy of this in my commander deck. We've got Stormfleet Sprinter, blue-red and 1 for 2/2 haste that cannot be blocked. This is a human pirate. This card I like a lot. Phantom Warrior was a card I enjoyed drafting back in the day. 2 blue and 1 for 2/2 unblockable. This creature has haste, and it's a pirate. Very relevant. There's a lot of good equipment you're going to be able to attach with this guy. This guy's going to be able to steal games away. Next up we have Thunderherd Migration. 1 in green. Sorcery Speed allows you to search your deck for basic land, put it into play tapped. You can reduce the casting cost by 1 if you reveal a dino from your hand. This card is perfect. It allows mana fixing. This allows ramp. This card is just better than Rampant Growth. I think this is going to be great and limited, and this is probably going to see play across other formats as well. Next up we have Cherished Hatchling. Green and 1 for a 2/1 Dino, and when it dies, it allows all your Dino cards to have flash, and they pounce when they come into play. This is, besides the adorable art on this card, I like this card a lot. It allows for some interesting interactions and keeps your opponents guessing as to what's in your hand when they're attacking. So next we have Fanatical Firebrand, 1 red for a 1/1 Goblin Pirate. It has haste, you can tap and sack it to do 1 damage to a creature or player. Looks like a monkey, but it is a Goblin Pirate. I like this card a lot. This is Mog Fanatic meets Raging Goblin. This is good. I'll definitely be throwing these into my limited decks. Don't know if this is going to see any play outside of limited, but I think this is going to be great in draft. Next up is Dusk Legion Zealot, 1 black and 1 for a 1/1 Vampire Soldier. When it enters play, draw a card and lose 1 life. This card's great. It's a vampire, so it synergizes with your vampire decks, and I personally love drafting Phyrexian Rager back in the day, and this is just the vampire version of that. I think this is going to be an easy auto-include in any of your vampire decks. Next up we have Surge of Memories. 2 blue for a sorcery, allows you to return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand, then you exile Surge of Memories. This is a card that you don't pick early in a draft, but if you've already picked up a few instants and sorceries that are pretty powerful, it's definitely one you want to consider later on. Next up we have Mysterious End, 1 white and 1 for an enchantment. When it enters play, exile target creature an opponent controls with converted mana cost 3 or less, and when it leaves play, you give target opponent a 3/3 Dino token with trample. I like this card. This is very, very strong. I think in Modern, this card takes care of a lot of problematic creatures. I think this is going to be good in limited, and I like that it gives target opponent the 3/3 Dino, so if you're playing multiplayer, you can reward an ally for their enchantment getting removed. Very, very strong. I like this card. Next we got Sphinx's Decree, 1 white and 1 for sorcery. Each opponent can't cast instant or sorcery spells during that player's next turn. I don't know how this card's going to be in limited. I think this card is probably going to find its way into some sideboards and constructed play, and I wouldn't be surprised if this doesn't show up in a lot of commander decks as well. Next we have Golden Demise, 2 black and 1 for sorcery. It has Ascend. All creatures get -2/-2 until end of turn. If you have City's Blessing, only your opponent's creatures get -2/-2 until end of turn. Strong card. I like this a lot. This is very cheap removal. Going to be great in black-blue control. I think this is going to see some constructed play, and I love that we've got Vraska in the artwork. Next up is Deeproot Elite, 1 green and 1 for a 1/1 Merfolk Warrior. Whenever a Merfolk enters play under your control, you get to put a 1/1 counter on target Merfolk you control. very, very strong. I mean, this card is going to go nuts. I can only imagine the scenario where you have Deeproot Elite and Deeproot Waters in play at the same time. Talk about going off. Next up is Tomb Robber. It's black and 2 for 1/1 human pirate. It has Menace. For 1, you can discard a card and have it explore. Not a super aggressive card, but I like this card in the mid to late game. Essentially, if you start hitting a lot of land draws, you can just toss those to explore this creature, burn through your deck, set up your hand, or just continue to draw land and put more 1/1 counters on it. Next up, we have Warsail Marauder, blue and 1 for 2/1 flying human pirate. When it attacks target opponent's creature, its power becomes 0, toughness becomes 1, and it loses all abilities. This card is very, very strong in my opinion. I mean, your opponent's going to have 2 flyers to block it successfully, or if they don't have any flyers, you're going to be able to push your mid-range creatures through their big blockers. I wouldn't be surprised if this card doesn't show up in some constructed play. Next up we have Poli Raptor, 2 green and 6 for a 5/5 dino, and Rage Trigger is that it creates a token of itself. This card's a little expensive for me. I don't see this seeing any play in constructed, but I think in the right limited deck, if you have some ramp and a good consistent way to trigger and rage, this might be okay to include one of. Next up we have the Rekindling Phoenix, 2 red and 2 for a 4/3 flyer, and when it dies it creates a 0/1 elemental token that reads, during your upkeep, sacrifice the token and return the Rekindling Phoenix into play with haste. This is a fantastic creature. It's reoccurring, so your opponent's going to have multiple ways to deal with it, or else it's going to continue to come back, and it's a 4/3 flyer for 4. That alone makes it first pickable and limited. I'm not sure if this will see any constructed play, but I'm definitely looking forward to drafting this card. Next up we have Bishop of Binding, 1 white and 3 for a 1/1 vampire. When it enters play, exile a creature an opponent controls until the bishop leaves play, and when it attacks you can give a vampire +X/+X until end of turn X being the power of the exiled creature. But this card I think is going to be really good when your opponent's playing dinos, especially if you hit some of their 5/5s and 6/6s. It's no Banisher Priest, but I still think this is going to be pretty decent and limited, and it's hard to say no to exile on a creature your opponent controls. Next up we have Forerunner of the Heralds, 1 green and 3 for a 3/2 Merfolk Scout. When it enters play, you get to search your deck for a Merfolk card, shuffle and put that card on top, so you get to set up your draw, and then whenever a Merfolk enters play under your control, this gets a 1/1 counter. I think you use this card, search for your Deeproot Elite, and just absolutely go bananas with your 1/1 counters. Next up we have Forerunner of the Empire, 1 red and 3 for 1/3 Human Soldier. When it enters play, search your deck for a dino, place that dino on top of your deck, and then whenever a dinosaur enters play, you can do 1 damage to each other creature. At first glance, I wasn't thrilled with this card, but I think in the right deck, with enough enrage triggers, this card is going to be really, really powerful. It lets you find your best dino, first of all, set up your draw, and then it allows you to just trigger and rage whenever you like. Next we've got Silent Gravestone, 1 colorless mana for an artifact. It says cards in graveyards can't be the targets of spells or abilities, and you can pay 4, exile it, and exile all cards in all graveyards, and draw a card. I don't see a lot of functionality with this in a limited format as it stands, but this card might find its way into some sideboards. We've got Dyer Fleet Neckbreaker. I like this card. Black and red and 2 for a 3/2 Orc Pirate. Attacking pirates get +2/+0. I mean, this is fantastic. I mean, this is a 5/2 on the attack. It gives all your other pirates +2/+0, which is a very large buff. I mean, this pushes your little guys through all your opponent's big blockers. I like this card a lot. Okay, so we got the Jungle Creeper here. Black, green, and 1 for a 3/3 elemental. I like that. That's fine on the curve if you're already in black-green. This is a perfect creature. And then it's got a relevant mid to late game ability. Black, green, and 3. Return it from your graveyard to your hand. This is perfect. So if you're running out of creature spells or you're hitting a lot of lands and you're flooding out, this is something to do with your mana. I like this card. Next up, we have Forerunner of the Coalition, black and 2 for a 2/2 Human Pirate. When it enters play, you get to tutor for your best pirate card, shuffle, place that on top of your deck, and then each other pirate that enters play under your control, your opponents lose 1 life. I like this card. You get to get your best pirate card, set up your draw step, and this is definitely going to represent quite a few points of extra damage to your opponent during the game. Next we've got the Forerunner of the Legion. This is white and 2 for a 2/2 Vampire Knight. When it enters play, you get to tutor for your best vampire, place that card on top of your deck, and whenever another vampire enters play under your control, target creature gets +1/+1 till end of turn. Given how easy it is to make 1/1 lifelink vampire tokens, I think this card is definitely going to be pretty valuable in draft. Next up we have Nezahal, Primal Tide. Looks like we got our blue Elder Dinosaur here. 2 blue and 5 for a 7/7. He cannot be countered. You have no maximum hand size. Whenever your opponent casts a non-creature spell, you get to draw an extra card, and if you discard 3 cards, you get to exile it, returning it to play during the next end step, tapped. This card is hard to kill. This gives you card advantage when your opponent are casting removal spells, And I think this is going to be an excellent card for Commander. It has so many abilities that you want to use in Commander. Looking forward to drafting this. Looking forward to throwing a copy into my Commander deck. I can't wait for this card. Alright, so it's time for a big guy. We've got Azor the Lawbringer. This is 2 white, 2 blue, and 2 colorless for a 6/6 flying Sphinx. I'm already sold. This card is fantastic. When it enters play, your opponents can't cast instants or sorcery spells during the next turn. Okay, that's a great upside. It's going to be harder to remove. And when it attacks, it's got Sphinx Revelation attached to it. This card is nuts. This is an insane bomb in Limited, and I would not be surprised at all if this doesn't show up in some constructed play. So I saved Golden Guardian for last. Azor is definitely the most powerful card I've seen out of the set so far. I cannot wait to draft that card. It looks bonkers. But Golden Guardian I like a lot. I really want to like it. It's 4 colorless for 4/4 defender. You can pay 2 to fight a creature you control, and if it dies, you return it to the battlefield transformed. It turns into Goldforge Garrison. It's a land that allows you to tap it for 2 of any one color, but you can pay 4 and tap it to create a 4/4 artifact creature token. I really want to like this card. I think that it's going to be powerful. I mean, it is a big downside. You have to fight your own creature. You're probably going to end up 2 for 1-ing yourself, but then you have a Golem engine. I really want to like this. I think this is going to be a lot of fun in draft. Alright everyone, looks like that's going to do it for today's Rival of Ixalan spoilers. I'm getting really excited. Every day I see new cards. I can't wait to draft these. So hurry up and drop online. Anyway, hope you enjoyed watching the cards with me. If you did, make sure to hit that like button. And if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you in my next video.